Hi everyone. Okay, so today I've got my laptop in front of me, and I'm going to be concentrating on my laptop quite a bit. Reason being, as much as it doesn't show or it doesn't come across as such, I'm still very camera shy. So every time I turn on the camera, half of the things I need to talk about I totally forget. So today I've got my laptop so I can do some work and I can shoot my video, and that way I can gather my thoughts and shoot a good video, at least good enough for people to understand. So anyway, hi, I'm Dee. Welcome back to Timeout. Hope you all had a good week. So today I want to get into the message really quickly because I don't want it to be too long, and there's quite a bit to say. So today we're going to be talking about idolatry. Now, thing with idolatry is a lot of people think it's just about bowing down to idols and worshipping trees or whatever idols it is, but that's a form of idolatry. Another form of idolatry, the thing is, with idolatry, okay, before I go into that, I mean, this video is supposed to, I've been talking about narcissists and toxic people and everything, and last week I spoke about empaths, but it was like a surface thing. So but today's video is supposed to tie together why I have been talking about narcissists, why I have been talking about toxic people, and why last week I spoke about empaths. So let me go back to idolatry. So idolatry is idealization. When you idealize something, when you revere something or somebody, like giving reference to somebody, or to something, other than God. That's what idolatry is. So idolatry is idealization. So you can idealize maybe a man or a woman. A lot of people idealize money. You can idolize fame, or famous person, or famous people, sorry, not famous persons, but famous people. So you can idealize so many things, and the thing with idealization is that it's a generational issue. It's a generational, I don't want to call it a generational curse, but that's really what it is. It's a generational issue. So bear with me, please. I will build the story and tie it up to the end. So let me give an example. So for instance, 4 generations, there's the great grandmother, then there's the grandmother, and then there's the mother, and then there's the daughter. So let's say, for instance, the great grandmother, the family tradition is that maybe when the great grandmother dies, she's going to leave the grandmother $100,000. So it's a family tradition that everybody, each generation, has to leave about $100,000 for the next generation. So what happens is that okay, so the great grandmother would leave that amount to the grandmother, then the grandmother would do that to the mother, then the mother would do that to the daughter. Now think about it this way, like let's say for instance the mother only has about $60,000, for instance, and that's what she's passed on to her daughter, and then her daughter is like really upset about it, like, okay, why would you give me just $60,000? Normally the family tradition is that you leave $100,000. Now the thing is, the mother can't give the daughter what she doesn't have, right? She can only give what she has. So think about monies in terms of education, in terms of knowledge. So the mother cannot pass on to the daughter an education or knowledge she doesn't have, so that's how it works. So anyway, imagine that what the mother has is lack, like deficit. So she's missing some certain informations that she's supposed to use through her life, so if she has lack and deficit, that's what she's going to pass on to her daughter, right? She can only give what she has. So if there's been idolatry in the family with the generations, if there's been idolatry, that's the only thing they can pass on to the next generation. I hope I'm making a bit of sense. Okay, so that's idolatry. So let's say where there's idolatry, what you will find is the Jezebel Spirit, aka the narcissist. Reason being, the Jezebel spirit is usually used as subject to idolatry. Why? Because she went into a kingdom where Jehovah Almighty God was served, and she took in her own god Baal, and she wanted people, she made her husband serve Baal, so, and she wanted people to serve Baal as well. The thing with Jezebel is that she never had a problem with people serving God. What she didn't want was people putting God above Baal. So the Jezebel spirit does not have a problem with you serving your God. You can serve God. The only thing is they want to be, or bring their God, or bring their beliefs, or bring themselves above God. And if you know anything about God, you know that's never going to work, right? So yeah, so wherever you have idolatry, you have the Jezebel spirit. So now let me go back to empath and how this all ties together. So that's how the narcissist ties together. So with empaths, I mean, last week I went through a few details about empaths and everything. So but I mean, idolatry can happen to anybody. What actually happens is a lot of women fall victim to idolatry, idolizing a relationship. In terms of, imagine this, like grandmother. Okay, sorry, I didn't explain properly. A grandmother passing on deficit lack to her daughter, which in turn will be idolatry, will be something like, think about it this way. So the grandmother says to the mother, you know what, you see that your husband, don't let him go. Don't let another woman take him from you. Don't let another woman do this. Don't let another woman do that. Don't let this, don't let that happen. And that's what the mother passes on to her daughter. So you're getting married now. This man is your everything. Don't let another woman look at him. Don't let another woman take him from you. Don't let another woman do this. So what happens in turn is that the daughter starts to idolize the man, and maybe pretty much even put him above of God, you know. So, and once you have to idolize anything above of God, it's idolatry. But I will explain in detail, so please bear with me. Okay, so let's look at empaths. I mean, I went through like a very circular explanation of what empaths are last week, but let me explain empaths properly. So last week I was able to explain that there are two different, there's the full empaths, and there are people that have empathetic abilities, right? Now, so I went through all the characteristics of what an empath is. An empath is intuitive, they are highly sensitive, they have very high discernment, this, that. So once people can identify themselves as empaths, the truth is that the circular way of describing them is empaths. The spiritual, because this has a lot of spiritual connotations to it, the spiritual way of describing them is prophets. So that's it in a nutshell. Empaths are prophets of God. Hence why they are highly sensitive. God wired them with all that sensitivity so they can feel his presence. So anyone that has identified themselves as an empath is actually a true prophet of God. If you think about it, you can go back to my video from last week. I did go through the characteristics of being an empath, then you'd understand what I mean. Because empaths are highly intuitive, which means, and the whole point of empath is that they have such high empathy, they're able to put themselves in other people's shoes and actually literally feel their pain. So that's how they're supposed to help people. That's how they're supposed to help the world. That's how they're supposed to work for God. They're highly empathetic people. Now, like I said last week, there are different types. There are people with empathetic abilities, which means they have empathy. They're able to show empathy to a lot of people. They may not be full empaths. They may not be highly intuitive. They may not be ultra sensitive to not just people but also energies, you know. So they may not be all those things, but once you have empathetic abilities, you are a prophetic person. So an empath, or somebody that has empathetic abilities, is either a prophet or a prophetic person. So what happened is that last week I posted like a few not on my Instagram, I posted it on my WhatsApp, like a few celebrities that have empathetic abilities, and then like a few people that were empaths. So part of the empaths was like a Mother Teresa, was Gandhi, if anybody has heard about Gandhi. People with empathetic abilities, you have like an Ed Sheeran, you have a Nicole Kidman, you have Oprah, and for empaths as well, you have Mandela. So I think the whole thing just, I think it speaks for itself, right? So people with empathetic abilities are meant, which is their prime purpose, to do something for people. So once they're able to provide a service to the people, like in good faith, good service to people, that's pretty much the way they can actually make it, like they can blow so to speak. They can actually be very successful. Do you understand? People with empathetic abilities have to do something for people. I mean, that's the whole point of empaths or empathetic people. You know, they have to do something. So most of the celebrities, like an Oprah, for instance, her life is dedicated to people. Do you understand? Her service is to the people, hence why she's highly successful. So if you have empathetic abilities, whatever it is you do in life should be of service to people, because that's what you were created for. Now empaths, whatever it is they do in life, they actually kind of have to work for God, because they are full-blown prophets. Now a lot of people that don't know they're empaths, I went through that as well last week, can go through insecurities, can find themselves in the wrong crowd, they feel lost and confused half the time, because you feel like you don't belong, because you actually don't. You were created and made for something else. So imagine for God, you were created for service to God. Now let's look at Levites in the Bible, right? Because this has a lot of spiritual connotations to it, so I'm also going to refer to the Bible quite a bit. Bear with me, please. Anyway, so because let's look at the Levites in the Bible, right? The Levites were separated for God. They were supposed to work on the tabernacle. They were carved out for God. They were not supposed to share part of the inheritance of the Israelites, right? Which means full empaths, most of the time, if you're working in if you're doing any professional job, I'm not saying you can't, you absolutely can. See, this is like really deep, so it's kind of difficult having to pinpoint pinpoint stuff. So anyway, if you're working in any sort of profession, empaths would experience a lot of attacks on their labor, on their finances. A lot of people will want what they have and do anything, diabolical, physical, whatever it is, to get it off of them. So they would always have issues with their work. They would maybe losing their jobs or whatever, and they will always have issues with their finances, because again, like the Levites in the Bible, they are separated for God. They're supposed to be doing God's work, not their own personal work, and the salary really should come from God. So anyway, so I had to go into a lot of explanation so that I can explain idolatry in details. So now we understand empaths or empathetic people. So these people are supposed to be separated for God. So their mission in life is to work for God, to help people, to be prophets for God. Now, anybody that knows anything about the negative, about the devil, about evil, whatever, they're going to try to stop that. They're going to try to stop an empath from actually walking in purpose, of actually achieving that purpose. So the devil will try to stop it. It's a given, hence, this is where the narcissists come in. This is where idolatry comes in. So now let me go into the topic for today. I just had to do like a background quick thing, so I'm just going to go into the topic. So so we're talking about idolatry. So when an empath or a prophetic person, when they go through these attacks, God allows it, because it needs to build their strength and it needs to build their character. So it's allowed at that point. The truth is that they can't really do anything to the person or the people, not on their lives. The things that will be affected will be their, most of the time, their labor and their finances, because they're not supposed to share part of the labor of other people. They're separated and designed and created for God. So that's how it works. Anyway, to get an empath to fall in love is not that hard, because empaths embody love. God is love. So to have empathy, and you have to have a lot of love for other people, so they embody love. So to get an empath to fall in love isn't actually that hard, and narcissists know that. Now think about it. The Jezebel spirit goes after prophets or prophetic people. Hence why last week, I said empaths and narcissists is like moth to a flame, because empaths have a purpose, they have a destiny, they have a mission to fulfill. So do empathetic people. Narcissists, Jezebel spirit goes for those kind of people to stop them or to distract them so that they cannot achieve that purpose in life. So I'll try to go back to my work as I'm talking about it so that I can gather my thoughts. So like I said, narcissists know that. So they can tell from conversations. Like, you meet a guy at the party and you guys are talking, and just from one or two or three things, especially if you're dealing with a narcissist or a Jezebel spirit, which is usually like a spiritual kind of narcissist, they're quite sensitive too. So whilst you're intuitive, most of them are as well, especially ones. Anyway, most empaths, most narcissists they're actually quite intuitive as well, because you see, whilst your sensitivity, your empaths are actually, their intuition, and most of the time, because they embody love, they have so much light. Like I said in one of my videos, it's so much easier for Holy Spirit or for good spirit or good vibes it's so much easier for them to be used by the light. Now with narcissists, it's easy for them to be used by darkness because they're empty people, and so it's easy for them to be used by negative forces, if I'm making any sense. Okay, so so narcissists know that. So sometimes out of intuition and just from talking to an empath, they can actually tell they're dealing with an empath or an empathetic person. So anyway, so this is where the narcissist starts to love bomb. So they're giving you, like I said, a lot of women fall into this trap as well. But today I wanted to focus on empath because I'm going somewhere. I'm building a story with the spiritual connotation. So I'm just going to go back and focus on empath as opposed to women. So anyway, but women are welcome. Everybody's welcome to watch this as well, because women, men, everybody falls into idolatry without actually even knowing what they're getting themselves into. So anyway. Yeah, so the narcissist will love bomb. They would give you like incessant attention, constantly calling you, constantly giving you attention. Now with the empath, because they embody love, it's a trap. It's a trap for them, because imagine, especially for an empath, like a guy says to you, he's looking at you in a funny way, like, I am in love with you. I don't know what it is. I've never met a woman like you before, my God, or a man like you, because this can be men or women, as long as you're you can identify as an empath, so you can be a man or woman, whatever it is. So anyway, and the person just say, every time I think about you, you're all I think about. I can't get you out of my head. I'm so in love with you. Looking at you funny. Now, for an empath, like I said, it's a trap, because it doesn't take much to get an empath to fantasize and romanticize everything in their heads. So they're already feeling like, they're thinking about it. You generally see someone say, oh my God, he's so cute. Like, he called me. He said, oh my God, you're so silly. He called me crazy. Oh my God, he's so cute. Oh my God, he's so hot. So people are like that. It's a trap. So anyway. So a narcissist will love bomb you and everything. I mean, the sole purpose is to get you in bed as soon as possible. it's not really just about the sex. It's to create a soul tie. We're going to go into soul tie, some other topic, not today. Is to create a very strong soul tie that you can't breathe, you can't do anything with this person without this person. So, and the whole point is for them to be God in your life. So they have to place themselves above God. If you remember, that's the whole point of the Jezebel Spirit. The Jezebel Spirit has no problem with you serving God. The Jezebel just wanted Baal to be above God. So the narcissist wants to be God in your life. They want to take the place of God. They want to be the only ones in your life. So the whole point of trying to get you in bed as soon as possible, is to have sex with you as soon as possible, is so that they can create a very, very strong soul tie. So you can't do anything without this person. And then after a while, you're thinking, oh my God, this guy's just, this person is so crazy, but you know, they love me. I know this person loves me. Oh my God, because they're calling you constantly. Now keep in mind, true love is not necessarily like that. True love does not mean the person has to call you 24 hours a day. No, it doesn't mean that at all. True love, I have people that I totally love, like unconditionally. I hardly even speak to them. Not because, but the truth is that if they need me for anything that makes any sense, I will be there. But I don't have to call them all the time. You know, but a narcissist does not do that. They love bomb you. They come after you. Calls, incessant calls, attention, everything. It's just so that you can relax and give them access into your life. So the narcissist wants to have the most, they want to be God in your life. They want to have a place above your family, above anything, you know. That's the whole point of the narcissist. So they're the God, they're your God pretty much, which in turn is idolatry. So anyway, so the narcissist comes with all that, and then they get you in bed, they create a soul tie. Now you're thinking that, you know, this person, you can't do without them. A narcissist needs to create importance. They need to let you know that they're the most important person in your life, even, you know, above anybody, above your family, above anything. That's the whole point of the soul tie. So you're thinking in your mind that this person, oh my God, God ordained this person for me. This person is everything. This person is my all, my end all, be all. This that, you know. So once they're able to establish a soul tie, then you have to give a seed offering. It's like a way of affirming that you're now part of you've been hooked. And this seed offering doesn't have to be sex. It's just you have to sacrifice something. Most of the time it's the people that are important in your life. They start to make you sacrifice the important voices, the voice of reason in your life. So like imagine like you have like maybe your parents, for instance, or something, or your best friend, or whatever it is. The next step for the narcissist after creating the soul tie is to start to devalue the people in your life. And how do they do this? So imagine, so they start to have a problem with everybody. And the truth is that they've gotten you to a point where you think this person is your end all be all. You don't want to lose this person. So once they start to complain about people and about certain things, gradually you start to conform, because you don't want to lose the person. There's already a soul tie, remember? You don't want to lose this person. You don't want this person to go away. You don't want to cause problems. So gradually you start to echo whatever it is they're saying to you. So a typical narcissist will say to you, oh, you know, this your friend, this can even make up story. Oh, sorry, they're pathological liars. So we'll probably even lie. Oh, this your friend looks at me funny. Oh, this your friend did this your friend did that. Gradually, you know, the whole point is to remove people from your life, the people that care about you, the people, the voice of reason in your life, the people that you hold very dear to you. They start to remove them in your life. They start to take them out one by one, and that's the sacrifice. Now, unfortunately, what actually happens after that is, you know, even by yourself, sometimes when they're not the ones devaluing, they get you to devalue people in your life. So they can say stuff like, you know, oh, this your friend, oh, she's always calling you, she's always acting like she knows everything, always acting like, you know, this, that, and you listen to everything. You know, you have a mind of your own. You're they build you up. They build you. A narcissist will build you up. Oh, you know, you're so great, you're so this. Oh, I've never met someone like you before. You're so strong by yourself. Why do you need their advice? Don't bother with them. Don't. Gradually you start to separate yourself from the people that care about you. Now what happens is that once you're giving all the small offerings, because they want to test you, they want to see how important they are in your life, they want to see if you're hooked, how hooked you are. So the sacrifices is how they know, they test your loyalty. A narcissist has to test your loyalty, so they start to test it. So what happens is, once you're giving all the small sacrifices, they amp it up just a bit. So now they can start having a problem with maybe your church, your mother, your father, everything that is important to you, your job. You know, they'll just say to you, oh, you know, oh gosh, I don't like the way your mom talks to you. You're an adult. Why would your mom talk to you like that? And it's only a matter of time when you think this person that cares about me so much is seeing something I am not seeing. You know, so what they're trying to do in turn is remove your mother, that voice of reason, from your life, or your father, or whatever it is. That church, why do you always have to go to that church? You know, this church, I mean, people like this funky church or whatever it is, you know, don't go to that church. Gradually they've removed you from your church. People that can help you, when they start to deal with you, literally, so they start to remove everybody from your life. They start to remove people from your life. So so anyway, once they're able to succeed to remove everybody from your life, I mean, idolatry leads to sabotage, because what happens is, it's a fantasy. At that point, you're high in cloud 9 over the love bombing. Oh, I love you so much, I can't do without you, I can't live without you, and you think this person is everything. But what they've done systematically is remove everybody from your life. So God forbid anything happens, you have no one to call. Because what happens is, if you keep devaluing your friends, like for instance, maybe your best friend is your voice of reason, and the person gives you the most candid advice. So once the narcissist has been able to remove that person from your life, or devalue that person, they might not even say it. They might just start to, why do you always listen to her? Oh my god, that person feels, or listen to him, oh, he feels like he knows everything. You're a grown man, why do you have to, or you're a grown woman, why do you have to listen to, you know? Gradually you start to devalue whatever it is your friend tells you, and after a while your friend is thinking, I mean, I don't tell you stuff and you listen anyway, so why do I have to? Don't call me, you know? So like that, people start to leave your life. And then, you know, like I said, it's a fantasy. So imagine this leads to marriage. You've married the fantasy and then divorced the reality, unfortunately. So once they've been able to succeed to remove people from your life, what happens is that their true colors start to show. So let's say, for instance, okay, like they removed your friends, they removed I mean, this happens over time, you know. So they've removed everybody from your life. Let's say what you can accept in a relationship, for instance, is about maybe somebody coming home, you go out at night, I mean, try to come home before midnight or before 3 a.m. or whatever it is. So let's say your cutoff point is 3 a.m. otherwise it's getting disrespectful. I mean, even if you're going to go out with boys or go out with girls or whatever it is, come back by 12 or come back by 2 or come back by, so you guys have agreed on a cutoff point. So after they've successfully removed people from your life, what happens is that they start to test the waters. So they'll start coming back at odd hours, you know, those times you said you can accept is what they start to do. Everything you said you can accept, they start to do it, and then there's no one to call. So you're all by yourself. And then what happens is that this person is your end all be all, so you can't let them go. So what you do is you start working hard, trying to relieve the good times. You're constantly trying, like, this person, I mean, this is not the person I fell in love with. What? They're so disrespectful, they're so nasty to me, they're so this, they're so that. It's the same person, it looks like the same person, still dresses and speaks like the same person, but it's not the same person anymore. So the true color starts to show. Then you realize that you married a fantasy. Now imagine the relationship doesn't even end up in marriage and it's just a relationship. So what happens is that if you keep in mind this, the whole point of all this is to stop the mission, to stop the destiny of the empath. So anyway, So let's say it's a relationship. What happens is that 9 times out of 10, even if you leave that relationship, the next person will probably be a narcissist, because it's going to be like different faces, but the same person. Why? It's a generational thing. It's a generational curse that has not been dealt with. It's idolatry. So it starts from idolizing, from the great grandmother that's been passed on to grandmother, that passed on to the mother, that passed on. So until that generational curse is actually broken, this is what is going to keep happening over and over again. So what happens is, like, so you start to go through series of relationship with narcissists, and the problem with series of relationship with narcissists is that they're there to take your time, to waste your time, to take your peace away from you. Because believe you me, being in a relationship with a narcissist, they're constantly cheating, they're constantly lying, they're constantly triangulating, which means they'll probably try to sleep with your friends, sleep with your sister, sleep with your cousins, sleep with your whatever it is, to drive you nuts, literally. So they make you, and then when you accuse them, they turn it right back on you. Oh, you're such a jealous person. Oh, you're such a this. Oh, you're such a that. Oh my God, you're so this. So they make you start to question yourself. You start to question yourself. You start to question even your own sanity. Because trust me, sometimes you would actually catch them in an act, but they will turn it around on you. So having to go through that sort of emotional and mental abuse over and over and over, because everything they do wrong becomes your fault. After a while, you know, after going through series of those kind of relationships, after a while you stop trusting God, because you're thinking, what have I done wrong that, you know, I have to experience this over and over in my life? What have I done wrong? So what happens is that you find yourself, even at 60, still somebody's girlfriend, you know, and haven't actually found a purpose in life, you know. And even sometimes it's even with friends. I mean, any relationship that you have to sacrifice your friends or sacrifice anybody is idolatry, because whatever it is that person is asking of you is to make them your God, is to put them above everything else. And because you love this person so much and they constantly love bombing you and lying to you anyway, what happens is that sometimes you even let go of some people just to prove your love for them. So you're like, oh, you know, my friend was like, I thought your boyfriend is so horrible, he's so nasty, doesn't like anybody. And I was like, don't talk about my man like that. In fact, because of that, I'm not even talking to her anymore. Sacrifice. So what the narcissist does, they sit down and watch you sacrifice that person, because it's a seed offering, it's an offering. You have to give offerings. So, you know, and it's not necessarily sex. What they use the sex to do, they're very sexual, very, very highly sexual. Yeah, narcissists are. Though, like I said, the whole point is to get you into a soul tie. So every time they're getting you into a deeper and a stronger soul tie, so that you're not going anywhere. This person is your end all and be all, and you're constantly giving sacrifices. You're giving up everything for them. They make you lose your job most of the time. I mean, if you won't give it up willingly, they can go around your back to speak to your work people, you know, in pretense that they are worried about you. I think, you know, oh, there's something wrong. Make you lose your job literally, so that you are solely dependent on them. Now, it might not even be a relationship, it might be friends. What happens is, with the narcissistic friend, they build you up. They build you up, they start to praise you, they love bomb you, they build you up. Oh my God, you're so great. Oh my God, I love you so much, I'm such a friend. Oh my God. And if it's a guy, guy, oh my God, you know you're my guy, I can't do much without. Oh, you know you're this, you know you're that. They love bomb you, they build you up just enough for you to think, oh, this person cares so much about me. Oh my God, this person cares about me even more than anybody else. It's a trap. Anyway, so you keep going through all the series of nasty, negative relationships, even with friendships sometimes, as an empath. And guess what the trick of the enemy is? Disappointment. Now, after so many disappointments, you can't trust God anymore. That's the end of the prophecy, the end of the destiny. I mean, if you don't trust God, as an empath or as a prophet of God, you need to build your gift in God. Your finances, your labor can only be tied to God as a prophet of God. So the salary comes from God, literally. So now imagine when you've let go of God and you're solely dependent on man. First of all, idolatry. Secondly, you're dealing with a narcissist. The devil comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Now, so the narcissist makes sure you go through series of disappointments. And even if you leave that relationship, like I said before, 9 times out of 10, you're going back. You're going to be in a relationship with another narcissist until you say enough. Until you've had enough. Until you pray about it. Until you break that generational curse, it will keep happening over and over to destroy the prophecy. That's what it's all about. It's the prophecy. So that's what they're after. That's why the narcissist comes into your life as an empath, is to destroy the prophecy, is to steal it away from you, to kill it and to destroy it completely. I mean, if you're totally distraught and you don't trust God anymore and you've been abused so much, you can't build your gifts. You can't do anything. Idolatry is the one thing that kills people faster than even a disease. Because trust me, somebody that's had to put all their eggs in one basket is a very dangerous person. Trust me, they are. Because imagine you're in a relationship and you've had to give up everything, everyone. You've given up so much. I mean, I'm doing these videos because this is also my experience that I'm sharing with people. So and the truth is, anybody can learn from this, not only empaths. Anybody can really truly learn from this, but this is my experience. So I mean, take what resonates and leave the rest for whoever needs it. So once you've given up everything, I mean, I was in a very committed relationship, and this person, I couldn't have friends. I couldn't talk to anyone. I had to cut off all my friends. I didn't know, because the truth is, I wasn't going to lose. Like I said, it's a very committed relationship. I'm not going to go into details, but I wasn't going to lose that just like that. So I mean, if that's what I had to sacrifice for peace, I was willing to do that for peace sake, not realizing that I was in idolatry. So if you've identified yourself as an empath, you need to take care. You can't just be in any relationship. You can't. You have to be very careful, because you have a purpose. You're here for a reason, and the devil will do everything, anything and everything to destroy that. So you can't fall for everybody that looks good and is coming to say, oh my God, every time I see you, you're all I think about. You can't fall for that. You have to be very prayerful, and you have to go back to God, so that you don't lose your purpose or lose your mission. Anyway, the video is so long now, and I really need to end it here. So I hope I've been able to make a bit of sense, because it makes sense in my head. I just hope I'm conveying a very clear message to everyone. So don't forget, mental health is the new wealth. Do have a good day. Have a lovely week ahead. I love you all. Namaste. Mwah.